of the poll, if we can, real quick. Let's see how that's going. Oh, we've flipped it. Okay, now the winning line is Heupel, winning with defense. That's the one that surprised you the most. Second place, is that 27 or 21%? And 27% for improved secondary, 22% for average pass attack, and 7% say that Sampson's production. You tell us what's the most surprising thing about football season so far for Tennessee. Keep clicking your smartphones there. Back with Mark Pankratz and Tyler Ivins here, gentlemen. And I brought you in, Tyler, because you're the big gambler. You enjoy the prognostication of it all.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. All the prognostications.
The pink suit coat.
Well,
today.
I got to take care of this. This is flash and for breast cancer awareness. Yes.
Real men wear pink. All right. Here's the gist. You look at the preseason projections. Tennessee's a 3 seed in the East. They're a 3 seed in the West, depending on who you. The Athletic has them in the West. Lunardi has them in the East, or vice versa. Golly, bum, man, that's tough to be making these projections. One, you don't know that you're going to get them right in football with the NIL. In basketball, you bring in 4 guys in football, that's 4 guys out of 85. 4 guys in basketball, you got a rotation of 7, that's a pretty good chunk. And everyone else is doing the same thing too. It's hard for me to wrap my head around how good these projections are. You look at the AP preseason poll last year, they got in the top 20 teams, they got 11 right and 9 weren't ranked. Okay, so you're 50-50 in terms of this stuff. Is it fair to go in with expectations for Tennessee this year? You look at the talent, you have no idea how it's going to mesh. You don't know how it's going to mesh with the new talent all elsewhere in the SEC. Is it fair to set an expectation of blank, and what is the expectation this year?
Is it fair to set the expectations? Yes, because there are teams out there. If you have talent, you have talent. I will say this, though, and I think this is really, really important. Last year, there's still a player on this current roster who I have NIL back and forth with, and I just asked him, what's this team going to look like this year? And I've even gone back and asked him a similar question, still a part of this year's roster. And he could not be any clearer. Last year's trip to Italy, when they went overseas for that summer trip they always take, was so important for what they wanted to do, team bonding, talking about how quickly Dalton connected and how quickly a lot of those other transfer portal players came in and how they meshed. So I think just experience more of these exhibition matchups, more of these private scrimmages like Davidson, as you already referred to, those are so massive. But from an expectation standpoint, another example was Lamont Paris in South Carolina last year. They were supposed to finish 12th, and he goes to the transfer portal, things get clicking, and they were a thorn in Tennessee side at home, and they had to go toe-to-toe with them in Carolina to win the SEC last year. So it's a little hit or miss. But if you have talent like these top 15, 16 teams projected, it's going to end up rising to the top.
Well, you also mentioned Eric Musselman in Arkansas last year, where it didn't rise to the top.
Yeah.
So it's all right. Expectations. What should they be, and are they fair? First of all, at this point, or is it more? It's more crapshoot than ever, in my opinion. But you can tell me if you disagree with that, and then you also tell me what the expectation should be for this team.
I think it's fair. I think it's the necessary evil of
business,
building success.
yeah.
That is part of it. Do I carry much? Do I give it much weight? No. But I think this team, because I look more at what really I put it on Barnes, and I think if I look at all these different teams and the culture that he has consistently built, if with the character and the talent that he keeps bringing in, I'm going to bet on Barnes. Like you said in the break, like, all right, we could pick preseasons, and Kansas is going to probably be there, UConn's going to probably be there.
Duke will be
and
there.
I think with what Barnes has done in his tenure, I think he deserves to be there. And this is no shot on Coach Pearl, but Auburn, you look at their inconsistencies, he's continued to bring in talent, but I think he's had a lot more inconsistencies, the Musselmans of the world. Whereas Barnes, every year, he's pretty much been there.
Well, and another guy that you got to put up there is kind of the Nate Oats, who was a guy who last year he's on your side, he brought in an entirely new roster.
Right.
He had new assistants and everything, and it all kind of fired together and worked last year, so you never can tell. I just think it's tougher than ever to look at it and go, oh, yeah, we should be a 3 seed. I don't know. Let's see. Give me a month of watching these guys play together.
And I also think the fans have to understand that some of these preseason games, these early season games in basketball, in a 35-season sport, 35-game season sport, coaches are figuring out how guys can play together, what play calls, what offenses, what defenses,
No.
and it's not going to be the
go
same.
undefeated and win by 100 every game.
And it's not supposed to be the same. When you have a Dalton Connect and you can run different things than you can potentially when you have this type of makeup of a team. So fans are going to see these first 10 games, and it may, other than defensively, that'll always be the same. But offensively, it may look different, and fans just have to let this play out.
Remember, Dalton Connect didn't shine last year to the ACC SEC showdown with North Carolina.
Yep.
A lot of people saw him in Maui going, we're supposed to be this big Dalton kid. And then Chapel Hill happens. Everybody goes, there it is.
Yeah, that's the
10,
one.
11 games into the season.
All right, when we come back, the sport of basketball is changing quite a bit. Is it changing for the better? We'll talk about three-point shots taking over the game. Come on back on the Sports Source.